for joining us. Now, we would like to start our program, and we hope you can be patient with us and stay with us. Jazakumullah khaira. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين وصلاة الله وسلامه على النبي المصطفى الرحمة المهداة نبينا محمد بن عبد الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. All praises are meant and solely to our superior Almighty Allah. All praises are to Him. We thank Him for sparing our life today, and His mercies to His beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his companions, his families, and his followers, and followers of his followers, and also all our scholarly personnel who will learn one or two words or sentences or will read their books. So, without any further ado, we will start our program. Firstly, I would like to give a brief introductory about the topic of this webinar. Today's topic is going to be on the sustainable, holistic, sustainable development goals, SDG, looking at the spiritual approach. As we all know that the global bodies and policymakers have done a lot of exclusive measures and efforts in working towards socio-economic and environmental development as they initiate what we know as MDG, which is Millennium Development Goals, initiated in 2000. And in 2015, these goals were replaced by what we know as SDG, Sustainable Development Goals, aiming at the same goals, which is generally based on social, economical, and environmental development. Meanwhile, looking at the initiated measures, Sustainable Development Goals, and MDG, so we are here to discuss on the spiritual components of sustaining these goals in context of Sustainable Development Goals, which is SDG. As we all know that as Muslims, so we are religiously required, it's a mandate for us to refer and adhere to the divine governance, which is based on Al-Quran wa Sunnah, as well as other sources like istihsan, like maslaha, the public interest. So for us to work toward ensuring and making, these SDG goals sustainable in accordance with the Maqasid Sharia, in accordance with the Islamic ethical conducts, Islamic ethical theories, Islamic ethical reasonings. So it's required by us to look at the religious matter, whether they are important, they are crucial for making these sustainable development goals sustainable. So which is why we will introduce our speaker and facilitator for today's program, who will discuss and shed light on the importance of the spiritual component in sustaining the sustainable development goals, in sustaining the sustainability of the UN initiated measure, which is SDG. So all this, the questions that are going to be addressed in this webinar is going to be on whether the spiritual component is matter. It's going to be on whether the spiritual component is considered, or spiritual components are considered as one of the significant predictor for sustaining the sustainable development goals. So, which is why I will introduce our speaker for today, our respected and esteemed Dr. Ismail Akintola, who we all know as Baba Oyo, the father of Oyo. So you are welcome, sir. You are welcome to our program. Are you there, sir?
Yes, I'm still there. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Hello.
Hello.
Dr. Ismail, are you there?
I am there. Can you see me? Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa
Wa
barakatuh.
alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. You are welcome.
Alhamdulillah.
Thank you for giving us the pleasure to learn from you. You are welcome, sir.
Thank you very
You are
much.
welcome, sir. So before we move on to the next session, I would like to inform, you're welcome, sir. I would like to inform every one of us, I would like to inform our respected participants and doctors who really, respect and they comply by attending this program. Without you, we won't be able to hold this program, because you are as they say, economists say that consumer sovereignty, and consumer holds the power. So you participants, you hold the power for the successfulness of this program. So I would like to introduce you to the rules and regulation of this webinar. So firstly, we will humbly request you to please mute your microphones, your videos, and if you have any question, please kindly write it down, or kindly note it down, or write it down on the chat board. So our speaker for today will later on answer your question during the Q&A session. Jazakumullahu khairan. We thank you all for joining this program. Yes, sir. I think you can start your inspirational and wonderful talk today, and we are looking forward to learn from you. And we pray to Almighty Allah to give you the knowledge, to give you the strength, to give you the stimulus of expressing and delivering this topic, which is about the sustaining holistic SDGs, a spiritual approach, which will be delivered by our Dr. Akintola Ismail Akinbode. The floor is yours, sir.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, Brother Kabari, for that introduction. Alhamdulillah, I would like to firstly express my appreciation to the NISCOM, who give us opportunity to share idea, to deliberate and brainstorm on different topical issues. Different topics have been done. Alhamdulillah. I thank NISCOM for giving us that opportunity. And I would like to specifically thank our president, Dr. Qasim Ogunsola, for being here and there, helping us to achieve this kind of program. May Almighty Allah reward him abundantly. Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. All praises and adoration due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who give us opportunity to gather here today to brainstorm on this particular topic. We seek his peace and blessing upon the noble Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his companions, and the generality of Muslims So I would like to thank our participants as well for uh, sparing their time to attend this kind of program. May Almighty Allah make it beneficial to each and every one of us. Okay, the topic is Sustainably Holistic SDG, a spiritual approach. This topic inshallah, we are going to cover different. Now, can you see my slides?
Yes, I can proceed, sir. I can see your slides.
MashaAllah. Okay, thank you. So now I would like to let us know, as we have known that the topic is sustaining, how can we sustain holistic SDG? But the dimension we want to look at it is in spiritual approach. When you want to when you want to approach a particular topic, there are different dimensions through which you can approach a topic. But today we are looking at it in spiritual dimension. So this course, we are going to cover the concept of happiness. That's the first area we are going to look at. Also, we are going to preview the SDG goal itself. Third, we are going to look at the SDG framework, and we are going to look at Islamic approach to SDG, and we are going to look at Quran and Hadith related to SDG, and we are going to make some reflection from some of our discussion, and finally we are going to conclude our topic by looking at how can we sustain holistic SDG. So that is uh, what we are going to cover in this discourse. Okay, before I move on, I would like to start with a quotation from Shamila Mahmood. Shamila Mahmood is a policy and research coordinator for Islamic Relief Worldwide. Islamic Relief Worldwide is known as part of an organization which sees to the welfare of the Muslims worldwide. Samla Mahmood is a policy and research coordinator. I want to quote from him. He says, the Quran and Sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, emphasize the rights of people who are poor and obligate Muslims to spend their wealth to assist the poor. There is every reason for us to welcome the adoption of this SDG goal, and we do so wholeheartedly. What Samla Mahmood is trying to tell us is that the SDG goal we are talking about, the first question we have to ask ourselves is that do we need to concern about SDG? What is our concern? Do we need even to participate in it? Do we even need to discuss about it? Do we even need to bother ourselves as Muslims? Samla Mahmood is now trying to tell us that SDG is also part of Islam, because the SDG is talking about how can we improve welfare of people. It's all about how can we ensure that we make world to be a better place to live for everyone. So Samla Mahmood is now telling us that since Quran and Sunnah emphasize that the poor people, they have rights upon us, and Islam also obligates Muslims to spend their wealth for the poor. So therefore, if we see a particular program aiming at improving the welfare of poor people, then there is necessary for us also to be concerned about this particular program. So based on this quotation, it means that if we are concerned with SDG, we are on the right path. If we are discussing on SDG, it is also part of our religion. If we are brainstorming and we are looking at how to sustain it, we are still on the right path. So based on that, we have uh, we have been able to see that we are on the right path by discussing SDG based on the quotation from Samila Mahmood. Okay, let's move on. To look at the concept of happiness. Happiness is what everyone is looking for in this life. There is no sane person or intellectual person or any person you meet and you ask him or her, do you want happiness? A same person will tell you, I want happiness. Nearly all of us, ruler and the root, the scholar, the students, everyone is looking for happiness in life. You want to be happy. So Imam Ghazali, I'm quoting from Imam Ghazali now. Imam Ghazali wrote a book towards the end of his life. Towards the end of his life, he wrote a book called Alchemy of Happiness. There, I think, after Imam Ghazali has been able to see different experience of life, Imam Ghazali now wrote that particular book called Alchemy of Happiness. After, when you grow up, when you become old, you will have seen different experience of life. And after Imam Ghazali see different experience of life, he now came up with a book called Alchemy of Happiness. Here, Imam now say happiness has to do with 4 areas, 4 factors. That if you want to be happy in life, you have to consider 4 aspects. First is the knowledge of self. Second is the knowledge about God. Third is knowledge of this world. And fourth is the knowledge of the next world. So Imam say if you want to be happy in life, you have to take care of these 4 crucial areas. Okay, let's take them one by one. Before we even move to the concept of SDG, because the concept of SDG is talking about how can we be happy? How can the poor be happy? How can the rich be happy? How can the scholar be happy? How can the student be happy? How can the ruler be happy? How can the ruled be happy? How can the leader be happy? And how can the follower be happy? So Imam Ghazali now said the first thing, if you want to achieve happiness in life, is you have to know about yourself. And if you want to know about yourself, there are 13 elements you have to fight war against. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Mashallah.
yes.
Thank you very much. So Imam Ghazali now say, if you want to be happy in life, you have to fight war against 13 enemies. One is egoism, arrogance, conceit, selfishness, greed, lust, intolerance, anger, lie, cheating, gossiping, and slandering. Now say, if you can master and destroy them, then you will be ready to fight the enemy you can see. What Imam is saying is that if you are arrogant, if you are selfish in life, and you are greedy, you want everything to be yours, you don't even want to help others, you don't want to even hear about others. What you are looking after is yourself. Me, I only. Imam say you can never be happy. If you are arrogant, maybe you see yourself better than others. That's the kalma of shaitan. Shaitan say, Allah khayru minka. I'm better than you. So Imam say if you have all these elements, you can never be happy in life. So that way, when we are talking about SDG, we are talking about how can we remove greediness? How are we going to tolerate others? How are we going to remove selfishness from our mind and soul? So that is advice for each and every one of us that for us to be happy, we have to see ourselves as Abdullah. We have to see ourselves as someone who is not better than others. So that is the first factor if we want to be happy in life. Second, Imam Ghazali say, for you to be happy in life, you have to have knowledge about your God. First, you have to know that your Allah is your creator and your Lord. If Allah is your creator and Lord, What he's telling you is that he has rights over you. He can tell you how to spend your wealth. He can tell you where to go. He can tell you where not to go. So if you want to be happy, you have to see that your Lord has rights over you. Second, you have to know that your Lord is bestower. Really, what does that mean? It means that Allah gives to you what he denies other. Subhanallah. Subhanallah. All of us, we have some things bestowed upon us by Almighty Allah. Yeah, we have some people, they cannot even feed themselves a day. But we can feed ourselves more than 3 times a day. We still have plenty. It is not by our might. What we have, some people they don't have. It is not that they are not. It is not that they are not intelligent. It is not that they are not intellectual. It is not that they are not. They are stupid. So when we see ourselves that what I have that others don't have, it is not by myself. Therefore, I have to find a way of helping them. Number three, Imam say your servitude depend on your obedience to him. How you obey Allah depend on it depend how if you say you call yourself Muslim, you call yourself Abdullah. How you obey Allah depend. I mean your obedience to him now will determine your servitude to him. Also, you have to know that Allah raised you above others, not by your might, but to take care of them. Also, you can worship Him. You can worship Allah through your kindness to others. What is that telling us is that to worship Allah is not only to pray. It has to do with how can we help others? How can we help the poor, help the needy, and the orphan? It is part of worship. So that means when we are talking about SDG, it's talking about kindness to others. Therefore, it is part of our ibadah. And also, you should know that Allah will question you on the day of judgment. How do you take care of the property given to you? How do you take care of the orphan? How do you take care of the follower? How do you take care of the poor people among you? So Imam said number three, you have to know that this world Allah just puts you there as a Khalifa. When you say Khalifa, it may be ambassador, representative, so that you take care of the property you find on the surface of earth. You take care of the animals, you take care of the people, you take care of everything on the surface of earth. That is why in Sahih Muslim, the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam say, Allah puts you on the surface of earth to see how you are going to behave there, how you are going to treat other creatures. And Allah say, ثُمَّ لَتُسْأَلُونَ يَوْمَئِذٍ عَنِ النَّعِيمِ. And on the day of judgment, we will question you about the enjoyment you have in this life. So that way, when we have property, when we have wealth, we have to spend it to assist others because we will be questioned on it on the day of judgment. So, final aspect is that you have to know that about the final aspect mentioned by Imam Ghazali that is a part of happiness is that you must know that on the day of judgment is day of reckoning, where you are going to account for every deed you do in this life. Now, being that said, we see that that is foundation of our happiness. Now the world is now seeking for happiness. After World War in 1945, they created United Nations. And the United Nations, the major purpose or aim of creating United Nations is to maintain international peace and security, to develop friendly relations among nations of the world, to promote social progress, and to ensure better living standard and human rights. Okay, look at this, all these purposes or all these objectives. Which one is anti-Islam? Can we say to maintain international peace is not part of Islam? Can we say to maintain security is not part of Islam? Can we say to maintain friendly relations among nations is not part of Islam? To promote social progress and better living is it not part of Islam? So that is the purpose why United Nations was created. And United Nations has been trying making global efforts to achieve that purpose. That is why they created Millennium Development Goal, as mentioned by Brother Kabari. And in 2000, they tried to revise this Millennium Development Goal. How far? Because they have almost 8 objectives there. They are trying to look at, do we achieve this or not? How can we continue? How can we move forward? That is why in 2015 they came up with Sustainable Development Goal, which is also called Global Goal in 2015. It is more comprehensive than MDG. And what is the purpose of that? Is that it's a blueprint to achieve a better and more sustainable future for all. So I think we can see now what is called Sustainable Development Goal, and we can see what they are aiming to achieve a better and more sustainable future for all. So if you look at Islam, Islam primarily Islam is looking at maintaining better, making world a better place to live for everyone, even for kufar, even for non-believer. Allah say, "Wama arisalinaka ila rahmatan lil alamin." When the Mufassirun, when they are talking about Wama arisalinaka ila rahmatan lil alamin, we send you to be merciful, or to be a rahman for all people. They say Ali Alamin does not even has to do with only human being. Even you have to be Rahman for the animals. So that means if you look at the goal of Islam, and this one that they post to us as SDG is also part of Islam. So if we are discussing how to sustain it, is that if we are looking at how we can participate in it as Muslims, how we can sustain it, it means we are talking about the agenda of Islam. Are we together? Assalamu alaikum.
Yes, sir, we are with you,
Yes,
sir.
MashaAllah.
yes,
MashaAllah. Thank you. So we have seen, we have looked at historical background of SDG, which is,
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. You can proceed, sir. We are with you.
okay, thank you very much. So we have seen the historical background of SDG, and
Can
we
you
have,
hear me, sir?
yes.
You're welcome.
So we have seen the historical background of SDG, and we have seen that the aim and objective is also in part with Islam. Because Islam is also rahmatan lil alamin, rahmatan for people, rahmatan for animal, rahmatan for everything living on the surface of earth. So this SDG created in 2015, which is also known as global goal, they have 17 goals there, and these 17 goals, part of it is no poverty, zero hunger, gender equality, clean water and sanitation, reduce inequality, good health and well-being. We can read off to save our time. If you look at that 17 goals, just look at it briefly. If you can look at all those 15 goals and 17 goals, look at it: decent work and economic growth, life underwater, peace, justice, and strong institutions. Okay. Now, can we say, which one can we say it is antithetic to Islam? Which one is, can we say this one is, we are talking about the principal aspects now. We have not been talking about but if you look at all, can we say, which one can we say it is anti-Islam? Are you with me?
Yeah, yes, we are with you, sir.
I'm saying that we look at these 17 goals. Let us all look at it one by one. Which one can we point out that is it is anti-Islam out of these goals? Do we find anyone there?
Sorry, sir. May I ask, do you want our participants to share their ideas as well?
Yes, I just asked just maybe
Okay.
out of
Okay.
these 17 goals,
Okay.
I find this one anti-Islam. So we are just looking at that.
Okay. You want them to speak up
Yes,
using
of course. Yes, of course.
their
Yes, of course.
microphone or just chat it on the keyboard.
Yes, of course. Just a simple answer.
Okay. Our participants, could you please share this? Our facilitator is asking a question whether there is any one of the goals which is not in accordance with Sharia, Islamic teachings. I mean, it's all Islamic sciences.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Walaikum salam wa
Walaikum
rahmatullah.
salam. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you. That's so. In my humble opinion, I think there is no among the 17 goals, there is no single goal that is anti-Islam. The only issue is that when it comes to how we can achieve a particular goal, that is where we can think of this is an Islamic way of achieving a particular goal, or a kind of conventional way for achieving a particular goal. But there is no goal that is anti-Islam. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam wa
Walaikum
rahmatullah.
salam.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Doctor,
sir.
for that beautiful contribution. Thank you very much. We really appreciate your contribution, sir. Okay, you see now, as doctors just said that.
Sorry, sir. Sorry,
Okay,
sir. I think one of our participants is trying to, want to share his idea as well.
okay,
Uh, Bello, are you there, sir?
Yes,
Okay, I think you
yes.
want to
Assalamu
talk, right?
alaikum.
walaikum
Alaikum
salam.
salam.
Yes, I try to come up with another point that having had my brother, Dr. Lowell, has said it all also, inshallah. So from the holistic view of the goals, they are all integrated into the holistic perspective of Islam. So if you look at Islam, as rightly the presenter is saying, they are all integrated into the perspective of Islam. So I also stress this point. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa
Doctor,
barakatuh.
thank you very
Thank you,
much
sir.
for that beautiful contribution. So, as our scholars have just said that we see that uh, all these goals are also in line with Islam. But when we are now talking about we are looking at it in different dimensions, then we can now be saying, okay, this one. Okay, as we have all agreed that uh, these goals are in line with Islam. So then let's look at the foundation of the goal. When you have anything, you have a house, you have a building, there will be what on what basis do you build that particular goals on? Let's look at on what tenets are these goals built on. They say that it is a universal call to action to end poverty, protect the planet, ensure that all people enjoy peace and prosperity by 2030. So that is the foundation of the goal. The tenets upon the SDG was built. Okay. Now if you look at it, we can now say that if we try to classify all these 17 goals, we can probably, based on just my own, we can say it is on human development. If you look at goal 1, 2, 3, it is about human development. You can say it is also on socio-economic development. If you look at goal 5, 8, 9, 10, it is about production and economy. If you look at goal 12, it is about sustainable cities and community development. If you look at goal 7, 11, 14, 15, and we can also say it is also political development if you look at goal 13, 16, and 17. But The foundation, the tenets upon this goal, upon which this goal is with, is human prosperity and dignity. Human prosperity and dignity, that we want to develop human. Okay, let's now compare that. If we now want to modify this goal, I mean this classification according to Islam, let's look at how it will look like. Look at this framework. The one we just look at it in human dimension, development of human, development of. But if you look at this framework, we can say we talk about siyasa, which is political development, like that of that one. Iktisad, which is economy, that of production, the one we just talked earlier. We talk about amalu khairiyat, charity. You talk about tarbiyah, which is about quality education, all those developments. We talk about sustainable cities. Okay, it looks like that one, but if it is that of Islamic framework, the foundation will be Ridwanullah. Why do we want to do all this? Is that we want to gain Ridwanullah. Is that we want to be good Khalifatu al-Ard. Number 3 is that we want to achieve Maqasid Sharia. For me, this is the area of difference. That one is based on human development, human prosperity, human dignity. But if that of Islam, it is about how can you gain Ridwanullah, pleasure of Allah. 2, how can you be a good ambassador? And 3, how can you achieve Maqasid Sharia? Okay, what are we trying to say? Is that if I want to train children, let's talk about education now. My aim will be, I want to achieve Ridwanullah, pleasure of Allah, in training these children. That will be my first goal. If I want to go into politics, political development, why do I want to do that? Because I want to gain pleasure of Allah. If I want to do Iktisad, I want to do Waqfu, I want to do Musharaka, I want to do Mudaraba, or all those kind of economic system, Islamic economic system. Why do I want to do it? Is it just to gain wealth? No, I want to do it because I want to gain pleasure of Allah, and I want to be a good ambassador. If I'm doing charity, why am I doing that? It should be because I want to gain pleasure of Allah. Because whatever you breed, if you don't breed it on sincerity, it can never be sustained. Brother Makabara, are we together?
Yes, we are together, Doctor.
Thank you very much. You see, whenever we want to breed anything, if you don't breed it on Ridwanullah, if you want to get pleasure of Allah, if you don't breed it because you want to be good Khalifa to Allah out, if you don't breed it on Maqasid Sharia, number 1, you can never achieve it. Or if you achieve it, it will not be a holistic achievement. And probably you may not even gain the pleasure of Allah on the day of judgment. So that is why if you want to, even our family, if you want to build a family, it should be because of pleasure of Allah. I want to do charity. لَمَا نُطْعِمُكُمْ لِوَجْهِ اللَّهِ لَا نُرِيدُ مِنكُمْ جَزَاءً وَلَا شُكُورًا. I want to do this thing because I want to gain pleasure of Allah. Why do we have to do this? Is that if you say because of human prosperity, human development, sometimes you do something good for people and they pay you back with wickedness. I think all of us will have had that experience. When you do amalu khairiyat, charity, you assist someone, you bring it up. Probably the person may pay you back with wickedness. Are you going to stop? Are you going to say, I'm not doing it again? Definitely, you are going to say it if you are doing it because of that particular person. But if you are doing it because you are doing it at onset or at initial stage because you want to get rid of Allah, you know you have to continue. I think based on the foundation now, we can see that there is difference. Our own, if you engage in this kind of program, if we participate in this kind of program, our aim should be largely Ridwanullah. We want to get Ridwanullah, we want to be good ambassador of Allah, and we want to achieve Maqasid the Sharia. Okay, let's look at some Quranic verses there. Allah say, when we are talking about feeding the poor, part of the SDG goal is no hunger or zero poverty. And in Surah Al-Insan, verse 8 to 9, Allah say, Illa ma come. And they give food. They, that pronoun they, is referring to Muslims. They give food out of love for him. That aim, out of love for him, is referring to Allah. They are giving food out of love for him. Look at their own foundation. To the poor and the orphan and the captive, saying, what are they saying? We feed you. Illa ma come. Allah. I want to gain pleasure of Allah. We desire from you neither reward nor thanks. That is we Muslims. When we are doing any program, our aim should be to gain pleasure of Allah. Okay, they are talking about the SDG, because we are looking at some Quranic verses under this pertaining to SDG now. They are talking about production, they are talking about maintenance. Allah say wakulu washirabu wala tusrifu innahu la yuhibbu musrifin. Do not waste resources. But look at it today, we Muslims. If you want to see that some people are wealthy, how are you going to know it? Is that the way they waste resources, the way they waste wealth, that is what they consider as their honor. They throw away many things. And Allah say, Allah categorically order us that Wakulu washrabu, eat and drink wala tusrifu, but do not waste. Why you should not waste? Innahu la yuhibbu musrifin, because Allah does not love those who waste resources. So that means our SDG, Islam is also part of SDG. Okay, look at what Islam is talking about, empowerment of the poor. In Surah Tawbah, Quran 11 verse 60, Allah tells us how we can empower the poor and those in need. Allah asks us to give zakat to the poor, to the needy, to the employer, those that we employ, to those we want them to embrace Islam, and to offset the debts of some people in jihad fi sabilillah, and those that the wayfarer are unable to get to their destination. What are we trying to say? Is that empowerment of the poor and vulnerable is part of Islam. So if we participate in this kind of program, we participate in it because it is there in our Quran and Sunnah. So look at equality. When Dr. Lawal is when he gave us his own contribution, he said that when we are looking at implementation, it is then we can now be looking at, do we have difference between those SDG and that of Islamic framework? In SDG, in 17 goals, there is gender equality there. There is gender equality. So look at that. They say gender equality, but in Islam, equality is more encompassing than gender equality. Islam, equality in Islam has to do with, you have to look it in holistic way. There shouldn't be civilizational superiority. Because I'm white, I'm better than you. Because I'm from Europe, I'm better than those from Africa. Look at their whole SDG. Their whole equality is about gender equality. They are not talking about racial equality. But Islam, when Islam is talking about development of the society, he say equality. Equality starts from racial equality. Those from America are not better from those in Malaysia. Those from Arab are not better than those from Africa. That is Islamic way of seeing equality. Allah say, Ya ayyuhan nasu, illa khalaqnakum min dhakari wa untha, wa ja'alnakum shu'uban. We made you laser. Wa shu'uban. Wa ja'alnakum shu'uban wa qabaila lita'arafu. Not because we are superior than others. So look at how Islam see equality, and also equality, gender equality. Islam say anyone who works righteousness, male or female. If you are male, we give you your full reward. If you are female, we give you full reward. So that means equality in Islam has to do with racial equality and gender equality. So that's what Dr. Lawal is trying to say. That when we look at implementation, we see that there will likely be difference. They will be talking about gender equality, but we will talk in it holistically. And Islam also talk about preservation of nature. They talk about life on the land. Islam asks us to plant a tree. Is it not to I mean to preserve nature? It is part of Sadaqah. Islam encourages us to plant a tree because it is part of Sadaqah. Islam also encourages us to take care of animals. I think all of us remember the story of two women, the one who fed a dog. And because of that, she was counted to be part of Al Jannah. And a woman who tied a cat without giving him food, and without giving it food, and without allowing it to find way to get something to eat. So look at how Islam talk about caring of animals. Islam also asks us, that's part of preservation of nature. Islam also asks us to maintain cleanliness of river. That's why the Prophet prohibit us from defecating river. And Islam also asks us to remove harm from the pathway. All these are part of preservation of what? Of nature. So, and Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and this Sahih Muslim, he asked Muslim to help the needy. He said, if you help any Muslims in distress, Allah will help you or will rescue you from difficulty on the day of judgment. So if you look at the 17 goal, zero hunger, no hunger and zero poverty. So that's what Islam is saying. Based on that, let's go on to reflection then. With what we have discussed so far, we see that in terms of foundation of this SDG, they base their own on human dignity and prosperity. But on that of Islam, we base it on Ridwanullah, fear of Allah, because we want to be good ambassador, and because we want to achieve Maqasid Sharia. Of course, Maqasid Sharia include human dignity and human honor. So reflection, let's just try to look at reflection here, brother. This is a from Yahya Bello Said. Yahya Bello Said was one of during Umar bin Abdulaziz. You know Umar bin Abdulaziz was one of Caliph of Islam, and during that time there was development, there was progress. People were enjoying during that time. We achieved zero poverty. We achieved no hunger. Yahya Bello Said now say, let me read. He said I was sent by Umar bin Abdulaziz to collect Saka from Africa. After he collected the Saka, I intended to give it to the poor people. However, I did not find one. La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. I did not find any person that will receive Saka. Umar bin Abdulaziz has made all the people rich during that time. Finally, I decided to use the Saka fund to buy and emancipate slaves. Now reflection here is, I have three options here. How, how do you think they achieve that? They achieve zero hunger and no poverty. Is it because of economic buoyancy? Is it because of justice and accountability? Or is it because of spirituality? What do you think? Are we there?
Number three.
Number three, justice and accountability. Thank you, brother. Any other option? Say that during Umar bin Abdulaziz, they achieve zero hunger and no poverty. What factor can we say is attributed to that achievement? Is it because the economy is very buoyant during that was very buoyant during that time? Is it because of justice and accountability? Is it because of spirituality? Which one can we say? Okay, as my brothers just said that.
Sorry, sir. I think Dr. Lawal is trying to say something.
Okay, welcome, doctor.
So, Assalamu alaikum. I will go with spirituality.
Okay, thank you, doctor. Do you still have other option? Okay, actually, we can say that all the three factors, but what will be the one that is triggering the others? That will be trigger factor. If you say economic buoyancy now, look, they don't find the poor. Now today, if you have Saka, even those that did not need, they will come for it. Those that are wealthy, they will still come for it. It's because it is spiritual development during that time that trigger economic buoyancy because people fear Allah. You can say because of spirituality, it is there is justice, there is accountability. So that means if we want the world to be better place, we have to develop spiritual aspect of people. If you say we want development, there can never be development if there is no spirituality, if there is no development in spirituality. Because greediness will be there, as we just say at the beginning. Greediness is there. If you don't clear mind, people will have enough. Selfishness is there in each and every one. There cannot be achievement if we are not developing aspect of spiritual development. So that is why you see today the West, they see development in terms of material. But we Muslims, we see development in terms of spiritual aspect. That is why during Umar bin Abdulaziz, all of us we can hear during Imam after Salat Juma, after the Khutbah, they will say, Allah ya'muru bil adli wal ihsan wa ita'i dhil qurba wal yanha 'anil fahsha'i wal munkar wal baghi ya'idukum la'allakum tadhakkarun. Even in Africa, this fast, I memorize it from our Imam, the Imam of Khutbah. Because every Jumat, they will end up with this particular phase. And I know all of us witnessed that in many parts of the country. This phase, it was during Umar bin Abdulaziz that he asked every Imam that after khutbah, this verse should be recited to people. Why? So that it will remind all of us the order of Almighty Allah, that He asks us to do good, He asks us to be kind, He asks us to assist the poor. Look at that. It was during that Umar bin Abdulaziz. Okay, that's reflection one. Let's go on to reflection two. Reflection two is about a medical doctor from Kuwait. His name is Dr. Abdurrahman Asumait. I would like all of us to find time to read about his story, about his history, because it is an inspiring one. Dr. Abdurrahman Asumait. Dr. Abdurrahman Asumait is a medical doctor as well as Islamic scholar. He went to Africa maybe for a conference or for a particular program. And when he got there, he see the level of poverty. Not only poverty, you see there are some people, they don't have opportunity for people who will explain about Islam for them. As a Muslim, when we see someone in need, it is our duty to feel. You see, that's what we are talking about. It's not about we just create a program. Yeah, it's part and parcel of Islam. If Muslims are truly living, or look at me today, as Muslim, we see that some people are unable to feed themselves, and instead of giving to them, we throw it away. But when we are truly living Muslims, the agenda is part and parcel of us. When Dr. Abraham Sumait went to Africa, he saw the level of hunger, the level of poverty, and he also witnessed that they don't have opportunity to people that will explain Islam to them. He now said, I devoted my life for the development of Africa. From Kuwait, look at the enjoyment in Kuwait. He now said, I devoted my life for Africa. Look at that. So that is not about only SDG. SDG is just part and parcel of us. If we are truly living, he moved from Kuwait down to Africa. Look at that. It's very difficult for you to move from that particular country to that Africa. It's not easy. But because, as we just said, part of our happiness in life is how well do we contribute to the development of people and democracy in Sharia. Look at Dr. Abdulrahman Sumait. I say that he is a medical doctor. He now use his professor. When you're a medical doctor, he use that professor to assist the ill people, the sick people. Look at the children that are very sick, and he treated them. Look at that. He treated them. He treated them. Not only the children, also the adult people. Can you see their life? Today we are talking about their own life. We pray that one day people should be talking about our own life also in a good way. Because some people, they will leave this surface of earth and they have good story. Some people will leave and people will say, Alhamdulillah, the person dies. He used the professor to assist. We should read about him. It is very inspiring. And this is photo. Look at achievement they say Abraham Sumait achieved. He assisted 11,500 orphans. He assisted 95,000 students. He breathed through him, through the effort, not only him, he has to gather here and there. 5,700 mosques. He built 200 training centers for women, 860 schools. With the efforts of Dr. Abraham Sumait, with the help of Allah, in Africa now, 4 universities were established through Dr. Abraham Sumait. Look at life. He built 102 Islamic centers, and he dug 11,500 wells. And 551 million Quran were distributed to people. And 7 million people reverted to Islam, very funny, including the pastors and bishops. Now, if you are talking about SDG, the man is even himself SDG. If you are talking about SDG, this man, Dr. Abraham Sumait, is himself SDG. That is why we have to imbibe that culture, that we have to do something for the benefit of mankind. This is a quotation from Abraham Sumait. He said, my brother, we are not waiting for a certificate of our work. We are in the field and waiting for Allah to accept all of us. You see now? We are talking about foundation of this SDG in Islam. The foundation of SDG in Islam is Maridatullah. Is we want to be Khalifatullah al-Ard. Is we want to achieve Maqasid in the Sharia. We want to assist Muslims to understand their religion more. We want to protect the dignity of Muslims more. He said, my brother, we are not waiting for his certificate for our work. We are in the field and waiting for Allah to accept all of us. That's the purpose of us going into field, participating in SDG, maintaining a program. Our aim is to gain the pleasure of Allah. I'm coming.
Sorry, sir.
I'm about to. Okay, doctor.
Can you hear me, sir? We have. Sorry, sir. We have 10 minutes left for
Okay.
your talk.
Okay. I will not even take more than 10 minutes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. The report of SDG.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
The report of SDG 2020 Index, the recent report about how countries all over the world, how are they performing? How are they performing regarding these 17 goals? The report stated that the 2020 SDG Index, that OIC country, OIC country, have more missing data than non-OIC countries. Also, the performance of the majority of OIC member countries is relatively poorer than non-OIC countries. So you can see that it means that we are lagging behind. And this part of thing we have to do if we want to make sure that our religion continue to progress. Now, finally, I'm almost at the end. If we now want to sustain the SDG, the line of action number one is that we have to accept the goal as part of our daily duty, as part of our religion. We have to, number two, we have to encourage Muslim Ummah to nurture that culture with Islamic worldview. We have to encourage them. They shouldn't see it as something we don't need. It's part of us. Three, we have to practice the goal right from ourselves. Avoid wastage of water, avoid wastage of food, avoid wastage of resources, and we have to infuse the goal as part of our establishment objective. Some of us that we have different establishments, we have to put that goal as part of ourselves, and we have to create or join an association for urban development. There are many urban development we can join. It's part of us, and we have to find way to support the vulnerable Muslims across the world. We have to encourage Muslims to lead in making the world a better place. Also, those of us that we have some skills, we have to train some Muslims on that particular skill. And also we have to volunteer ourselves in challenging age to the lady. We can also try in building schools and training centers. And also we can offer professional service. Some of us are professional in our field. We can offer that service to some faith-based organizations, and we can educate and enlighten people on this global agenda. And also we consider that the implementation of the goal as part of our life happiness. And finally, we have to ensure that the focus is to gain the Ridwan Allah. Not I want people to see me. I want people to know I'm doing. It should be to gain Ridwan Allah so that we gain paradise of Allah. Finally, in conclusion, I will conclude the talk with hadith of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. The hadith was reported by Anas bin Malik. He said, the Prophet said, if the final hour comes, while you have a seed of a plant in your hand, final hour just come, and you have a seed of a plant in your hand, and it is possible for you to plant it. Before the hour comes, you should plant it. The question is, you are going to die, and the final hour just come, and you have opportunity, you have a seed on your hand. Don't die except you plant that particular seed. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل محمد وسلم. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون والسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. جزاكم الله خيرا.
Thank you, sir. We thank our doctor for his inspirational and informative speech on this important topic. which is about the SDG, how to sustain the SDG. So to note some of your points, because we know we've learned a lot of things, we capture a lot of things from your speech. But to note down some, I would say that while you are talking about the fundamentals of SDG, so we learn that SDG has a root. It's not a new phenomenon, not a new scenario in Islamic teachings or in Islamic heritage, based on the on the earlier era until now. And what distinct the worldview, what's distinct the SDG and Islamic approach is the worldview and ethical and spiritual dimensions, which is based on the Ridwanullah, Almighty Allah's pleasure, the Khilafatullah, being a good vicegerent of Almighty Allah on this earth, as well as protection and promotion of Maqasid Sharia of this worldly and hereafter. Meanwhile, in the secular, in the SDG is mainly based on secular ideology, which is only focused on the human dignity and prosperity. And in Islam, the spirituality is considered as an architecture for sustaining the sustainable development goals. Jazakumullah khairan. We really appreciate and we thank you for your talk. Jazakumullah khairan. And now we'll move on to the next session, which is going to be on the Q&A, question and answers. So, dear participants, we thank you for your patience and staying with us. Jazakumullah khairan. Please, if you have any question, please kindly post your question on the chat icon so that our doctor will try to address and answer your questions. Meanwhile, we have some questions here. One of our doctors is asking, he says that, in your opinion, sir, despite being enriched in the Quran, why are Muslims not the ones championing this laudable cause? That's the first question. He asked two questions. Are you going to answer each one of the questions, or I should just, read the two questions to you, sir?
Yes.
Okay, sir. That's the first question. So he's saying that in Islam, we have all these mentioned in the Quran and highlighted in the Quran, but why Muslims not the one championing this laudable cause? That's the first question. And the second question is, do you think that there is anything missing? There's anything missing within the Muslim Ummah presenting us in this regard? That's his question.
Okay, thank you very much, Brother Mekabara, and the questioner. I think that's exactly part of what we are trying to iron out. Muslim, we do always be proactive. Why? Because we don't always sit down and bring out a program. This agenda is already in part of Quran and Sunnah. So why can't we the leaders sit down and bring out this agenda for to lead the nation? But what we have is that some of the time the Westerner or they will look at Islam and they bring out some facts from Islam and they will still send to the Muslim woman again. And the Muslim woman will start to say, okay, this, mashallah, look at this idea brought by you and this is part of you already. So I think we have to be proactive and we have to start from now. I and you, every one of us, especially from this university, the different things should be coming out from our hand to our community. Not that everything, the WhatsApp is from them, the Facebook is from them, the Telegram is from them. What is from our own? So all of us will look at our own feed and bring us something. So the same thing applicable to. So we do always be proactive. We don't know we have something. We don't know we can give something. That's inferiority complex. So we have to change that inferiority complex, and we'll be able to lead Ummah better, I think.
Okay, I think you've answered the two questions. I mean, with only one bird, like this is. So, should I continue with the next question or?
Already done. So I think I've answered the two, right?
Yeah, with one bird, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. The second question is, as part of SDG, is gender equality as mentioned by our doctor. However, given the verse of the Quran where men are supposed to be the protector of women, how do you think we can align this SDG with the Islamic tenets?
Okay. As we just said that we have to have Islamic framework, adapted one. Because when they are talking about equality, it is different from that equality in perspective of Islamic perspective. Even if you go further, when they are talking about equality, they will be talking about transgender. You should accept the gay, you should accept the lesbian, and in Islam, they don't have that right, because that is antithetic to Islam. So we have to adapt. We have to they adopt that particular SDG according to, that's what Dr. Lawal is trying to say, that it is when we are talking about implementation, brother Dr. Yahuza, Dr. Yahuza also added to that. Now, when we are talking about implementation, then we have to look at how do we want to implement it in line with Islamic injunction. So we have to readopt it, unless we will not be able to. It will not be Islamic. You understand? It will not be Islamic if we just take and we just copy and paste. No, we have to readjust that particular SDG in line with Islamic injunction, I think.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I would like to remind our participants to kindly post their questions on the chat icon so that our doctor can answer these questions. The next question, I don't think we have another question for now, but we only had only three questions. Walaikum salam. Sorry, sir. Could you please write your question on the chat board, or your question is your question need an exclusive explanation, right?
Mine is not a question, please. Mine is just a comment, I think, and a contribution, a little comment, I think. So if there is the room for that, then I think I can forward it.
You're welcome. You can post it, sir.
Okay. First of all, I want to thank our Dr. Ismail for having a very, very interesting, impactful, and also very important presentation, and on a very, very important and crucial topic. My contribution quickly is on two things. The first one is sustainability, and the second one is spirituality. From the perspective, the two perspectives, secular perspective and the Islamic spiritual perspective, the concept of sustainability has different dimensions. Okay, the sustainability from the secular perspective is just sustainability of using the natural and environmental resources, at the same time keep them on for the next generation. So if you look at it, it's very good, but it starts and ends at a life on earth. That is, from your birth to your death. There's no link between the sustainability from here and to hereafter. And that is what the sustainability means from Islamic perspective. Life doesn't end on this world alone only. It extends to the life after death. And that has prior or has subsequent implication of a belief in man, a belief of man, if he knows that whatever I do here in the world, I will be held responsible and accountable in the afterlife. And that will make him subjective to the will, to the rule, and to the harmony of the world. if I just do what I did and there's no accountability, if I die, it's okay, nothing will happen. Why do I care for next generation? What do I care for later generation? And this is a very important point of departure from the perspective of Islam in sustainability and the secular one. Second one quickly is spirituality. The spirituality is from the Islamic perspective. If you don't have the mind, then forget about all these sustainability goals, millennium development goals. We have them since 2000. Even before 2000, we have many of them. They are coming and going. But the world is still going on increasing in poverty, unemployment, income inequality, hunger, crisis. All these are increasing. You are coming with more goals and more goals and more problems. More problems are mounting in the world. Why? Because you don't have spirit, you don't have mind. That is, the Prophet Muhammad says, "Ala wa inna fil jasadi mudghah. Idha salahat, salaha al jasadu kullu. Wa idha fasadat, fasada al jasadu kullu. Ala wa qalb." So therefore, if you don't have that spiritual mindset to do good and to be responsible, nothing will make it. That's why the Prophet, from the perspective of Sharia, we have the harmony with people, the harmony with environment, and the harmony with the spirit. The harmony with people, the Prophet says, "Wallahu fi auni al-abdi ma kana al-abdu fi auni akhihi." And from the environment, وَلَا تُفْسِدُوا فِي الْأَرْضِ بَعْدَ إِصْلَاحِهَا. So all these are all inbuilt, integrated in the holistic view of spirituality from the Islamic perspective. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you, sir, for your invaluable comments. We really appreciate it. Jazakumullah khairan. Sir, do you have any addition or any comment on what Dr. just said now?
Exactly. That's exactly what. No other comments with that. No other contribution, mashallah.
All right, sir. Okay, I think we have another question. Okay, I'm coming. Okay, in the last comment. Okay. It says that given the last comment from Mr. Yahuza, can we say that spirituality is the bedrock of SDG, or should we just separate the two?
Yes, mashallah. That's exactly what we are trying to say. That according to Islamic framework, Maridatullah, which is spirituality. That when we say Maridatullah, we mean that spirituality, seeing that you are accountable to Allah. You want to please Allah. That is the base. Without that, if you just want to do it because of people or for human dimension, so you cannot, it's as it you just continue to have more goals, developing different agenda because the one is not the one you have is not sustained. So that is why we say that spirituality, developing people to see that they have to do this thing because of Allah. They have to do this thing because of day of judgment. They have to do this because they will be questioned regarding how they treat others, how they help others. So if we have that kind of mindset, then naturally we'll be willing to do good things because we know that we are doing it because of ourselves and because of Allah. So we can say that SDG is the foundation or the bedrock. I mean, we can say spirituality is the foundation of bedrock of SDG. We cannot separate the two. So when you are talking about development of society, you must be talking about why do they will ask you, why do I have to do that? You understand? You have to help people. You have to do this. Why? You have to do it because Allah asked you to do it. You have to do it because on the day of judgment, you will be held accountable on that. So that is spirituality we are talking about. Ability to see yourself as servant of Allah, doing things because of Allah, and doing things because on the day of judgment you are going to question, you will continue to do that until you leave this office of art. You understand? If you know because of Allah, you continue to do it because you know you continue to do it till you leave this office of art. You understand? So that means it has been sustained. But if you don't do it because of Allah, you do it and you leave it one day. And that is what is happening. So we cannot separate the two. We can say that spirituality is the bedrock of any SDG or SM or MLD, MDG, or any goal you can come with anytime, any.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you, sir. Before we move on to the next question, I would like to inform our participants that if you want to have the workshop video and presentation slides, please kindly fill the form on the dashboard. The form is there. It has already been shared 3 times, so please kindly fill the form so that we can send the the video as well as the presentation slides to you. Thank you. So the next question is, okay. Given your response, sir, how do you categorize the rewards of non-Muslim that engage in SDG? I think that's a good question.
Mashallah. Exactly, that's what we are saying. They, according to Islam, they will get their reward in this life. But on the day of judgment, they have nothing to gain. They will get their reward and then maybe a kind of enjoyment in this life. But on the day of judgment, they have nothing to gain from Allah. Because the faith, the iman is not there. But if Muslims are doing it, they will get both reward in this life and reward hereafter. But the kuffar, they will only gain reward in this life and they will not gain any reward on the day of judgment.
Thank you, sir. I think we don't have another question for now. But I don't know, maybe some of our respected participants would prefer to speak up. Like, I don't know. So I think we don't have another question for now. So please kindly fill the form for the video as well as the slide presented by our esteemed doctor. Jazakumullah khairan. We thank you all for participating and being patient with us from the start of this program. Jazakumullah khairan. Sir, I think if we rely, I think one of the main, what I could consider as one of the major factors that could be the cause of a Muslim not being, more productive or being in an collective or significant development is that most of Muslim now, so we don't rely or adhere to the teachings of Islam. So of Ikra, but the question is, are we still crying? Are we still doing al-Qira'ah? So are we still reading? Are we still studying? Because we found that there are a lot of exclusive applications, implications. By our scholars, by Sahaba, by companions, even the Makoshi Sharia itself. The Makoshi Sharia has both two sides of the SDG. So it has the spiritual part and it has the worldly part as well as it has the spiritual part. Because Makoshi Sharia, we have Makoshi Sharia at Dunyawiyah. So we have the worldly objective of Sharia and we have the hereafter also. So we have the Makoshi Sharia and Ukhrawiyah, which is based on the spiritual part, not only based on materialistic or on materials. I think I'm on the line, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Even if we are reading, we are not implementing.
Yes, sir. For my opinion, I think we should rely to Makoshi Sharia, not just buying the Western ideologies on SDG or something like that.
Exactly.
So which is why I like the point that you raised about the adjustment of the measures given by Western ideologies. If they present or initiate any measure or any program or any development program, so we Muslim, it is our responsibility to critically review such, such measures to oversee whether they are in line with Sharia or not in line with Sharia.
Exactly.
Yes, sir. I don't think we don't have another question for now. So maybe if you have any concluding remark, so you can share it with us. We are looking forward to learning from you, sir.
So the concluding remark will just be to appreciate the participants who spare us their little time to be with us, those that are here and those that have left. And specifically, we have to thank our president. To be honest, we have to thank him. We have to thank him very much. So, Dr. Qasim Ogusola. So, we pray Almighty Allah continue to increase him in knowledge and wisdom. And we have to even thank the MC of the program as well, Brother Kamara, for that beautiful coordination. And we thank all our doctors here, the intellectuals that are here with us in the studio, I mean in the platform. May Almighty Allah continue to increase us. As you say, we are not reading. Even if we are reading, we are not implementing what we are reading. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you, Doctor. Lastly, I would like to remind us of one of the notes, the major notes, given by our doctor. He made mention the importance of proactive measure and proactive action, proactive implication. So based on divine governance, as well as we Muslim need to look into the importance of spirituality in anything we do, and rely and adhere to the divine governance, which is based on the Al-Quran and Sunnah and other sources. We would like to thank our participants for their patience again, because they are the visible and the invisible powerful stakeholders of this program. Because of them, we were able to hold this program and make this program successful. We thank you all. We seek for Almighty Allah to grant you all your wishes and to reward you all for your attendance and your contributions, your comments, your patience with us, and your cooperation. Jazakumullahu khairan. So this will be the end of our program, and we're looking forward to meeting you again in our coming programs. Thank you again. Jazakumullahu khairan.
Jazakumullah. Agam.